morning, guys. This is the Huddle Media. Today we have an interesting guest, and we are going to discuss all things to do with health insurance cover. And as you can see, I have one of the insurance consultant, Mr. Isaac Osaka. Good morning.
Morning to you.
How are you today,
Fine,
sir?
fine, Samuel.
Thank you for finding time.
Yes.
Yes, and as usual, my name is Samuel Jomo, and we are going to discuss various issues to deal with health insurance. Maybe you are aware or not, but you will get an insightful messages from our guest here today. And Mr. Osaka, maybe just to begin, tell us, how do you help my viewers and myself maybe to know what is health insurance?
Thank you very much, Samuel, for that wonderful question. In fact, when you want to know more about health insurance,
Yes.
The background must be you must have some knowledge of insurance.
Yes.
So to be on track is that health insurance is risks that are related to medical related issues, and normally insurance is about handling risks. When it comes to medical insurance now, the risks that are related to medical issues.
Yes.
Yes, so that packages that can give you access to health facilities so that you are treated and you are alleviated from any financial loss. Yes.
Yes, that is true. And maybe the way you said it covers health risks that comes along. And people will say, maybe God has given me life, I don't need health insurance. Why is it important for someone to have health insurance?
It is a question that we come across a lot in the market, where some people say they are insured by God and blood of Jesus.
Yes.
And it is very, very important to note that not every time and again people are having money in their pockets.
Yes.
Again, somebody can have a lot of money in the bank, but it's the one who is now affected through an accident, through illness, to the level that he cannot even access the bank account, he cannot even sign a check and withdraw money. And again, when you don't have a medical insurance, accessing the facilities becomes very difficult because they would require a deposit of some substantial amount of money, which in most cases people don't work with over 500,000 in their pockets.
Yes.
So it is always important to have a card, a medical card that can give you access to medical facilities when there is a need. Yes.
In fact, you find when you don't expect that you're going to get sick, that is when sickness come in. So, and you don't have a disposable income at that particular time. True. That is why you should at least go ahead and purchase the medical insurance.
Very true.
Yes, but how can they access this cover, this medical health insurance cover?
Once somebody has bought a medical scheme, there are solutions that are in the market. Once now you have been given the contract and you have now the policy for medical, should a sickness happen, then you will just use your medical card, go to the facilities that are being contracted by the same insurer, and get yourself being assisted for any kind of illness that is affecting the member. Yes.
So medical insurance, the way I'll purchase it is different from the way someone else will purchase it, depending with the need that we have at that particular time.
People have different needs, and when now you go to an insurance company, they will always consult and they understand your needs. Some people, their needs are only in the light of where they see the major risk is inpatient only. Some will even say they want maternity benefit also there, and some will be only focusing on outpatient. And there is some requirements that you cannot buy these other benefits like maternity and outpatient, dental, optical related services before you buy the main insurance. The main one is inpatient benefit.
Okay. So I have to purchase an inpatient for me to benefit from the rest.
Yes.
Like you've mentioned, the outpatient, dental, maternity.
That's true.
And
Optical.
And optical. Talking about maternity,
Yes.
I understand sometimes insurance will need some waiting period for it to be covered, or prenatal and postnatal. Maybe you can enlighten us on that.
Yeah, it is true. You remember, maternity is not a disease.
Yes.
It is a condition.
Yes.
And such conditions, people always plan for them. And that's where we require members to come on board, and we give them our terms. Terms are always, there is a waiting period affecting maternity-related cases. You cannot just walk in and tomorrow you want to be given the okay to go and deliver or start utilizing or going to see a gyna at any given time. So we want you to come early so that you register, and then we give you our terms, which sometimes there are some policies that run for a year, some policies run for 9 months, depending on which contract you are entering into. Yeah, because there are some contracts that are company related. At times you might even find that maternity becomes zero waiting period if you are coming under a very large corporate scheme.
Also, when I'm coming, if in case my employer purchased for me a medical cover, then that means there is no waiting period.
Yeah, and then it is employer to employer, depending also the number of staff that they have. They might have less than 20 staff members. So you might find that the waiting period for maternity can still apply to either 10 months, 9 months, or 1 year. But when the members are very many, 20 plus, then we normally give them a solution that has got zero waiting period for maternity.
Okay.
Yes.
So the waiting period basically is for, it can apply either from employer side when the employer is giving us cover, or when I'm purchasing as an individual person.
Yes, it can apply as an individual, but when it comes to an individual, most of the schemes that are in the market will require a 12 months waiting period.
Okay.
When it is employer related, that's when we jungle from 9 to 10, between 9 and 10. Yes.
So for me to get the
and
benefit,
also 0 days if the number is big. Yes.
So for me to purchase as individual, I have to come in early if I want to benefit from maternity.
Yes.
And I have to plan when maybe my spouse should, we planning how to have a child, at which point.
That's true.
Yes.
Yes.
Maybe this is another question that many are asked. It's about the NHIF. How is it different from the insurance from other private companies?
In a nutshell, NHIF is a very good scheme. And remember, it is government, it is rolled by the government.
Yes.
And every adult is expected to have NHIF card. And when you are an employee of any organization, it becomes compulsory. But when you are self-employed, you are a businessman, then you are supposed just to buy NHIF that is going for 500 per month. But it has got some parameters. When you are a civil servant,
yes,
NHIF is the only best option for you.
Yes.
Because it will give you all the things that are promised by NHIF Act. But when you are a private citizen, you are not a civil servant, then it has got some hiccups for you. You can only access government-related hospitals for both inpatient and outpatient,
yes,
and other services without any limits. But if you are going to a private hospital, it has got some cappings, some limitations, and it can also only give you access to a particular service provider, not all of them. And that's where it has got a lot of hiccups. Again, all private medical schemes, when it is inpatient related, there is what we call rebate per day, which NHIF always pays on behalf of the card holder. So all members who are purchasing a private medical scheme, they are supposed to have NHIF because of that rebate issue. In insurance, we normally say there is the law of contribution. NHIF must contribute to your accommodation in a hospital per day. And that's why we normally say NHIF and private medical schemes, they complement each other. They are not competing with each other, but they are complementing. Because there are some procedures that you will be required to, first of all, apply NHIF, like when you are going for dialysis, when you are going for even operations, there is a certain amount, like 130 for operations, that NHIF handles before private insurance comes in. And that helps the client or member not to put himself into an awkward position by exposing himself with zero limits at any short notice.
So, so if I don't have NHIF,
yes,
and I have my own individual insurance cover from another company, so does it mean that when I'm hospitalized, I'll be able to pay from my pocket?
Definitely you will have to chip in. Where in NHIF was supposed to chip in, you don't have it. For example, accommodation per day is maximum 4,000. If you don't have NHIF and you are at one of the major facilities, that 4,000 per day until you are discharged will come out of your pocket. The insurance will not handle it on your behalf unless you are a foreigner who is working in Kenya and is not supposed to purchase NHIF. Yes.
All right. There is this term called pre-existing. Many have asked, what is a pre-existing condition and how does it affect my insurance package?
When talking of pre-existing, we say pre-existing condition, you cannot erase chronic conditions. When you are talking about pre-existing condition, you will still have in mind to talk about congenital conditions. These are conditions, especially pre-existing, when you are coming on board to purchase a medical scheme today. And from your knowledge, you have been advised by a medical practitioner that what we see, you need an operation on this procedure. When now you are coming to purchase a medical, you have prior knowledge about a certain condition in you. That's what we call pre-existing. Some people, they have had some accidents.
Yes.
And they are working with metals in their bones, which needs to be removed maybe at some times, maybe 2 years, 3 years to come. And that procedure is very expensive. So they are advised, go and purchase a medical scheme so that by the time we are doing removal, we can take you to a better facility where that operation can be done and you will be healed. So they come with prior knowledge that they have a condition in one of their bones.
So you have to declare at the point of application.
One is required through what we call utmost good faith to declare whatever condition that he knows. Yes. So how does it affect medical schemes or affect the member? Some of these pre-existing chronic conditions are always subjected to some waiting period. And if the waiting period is not applicable, we accept you, but we do not take care of those pre-existing or chronic conditions up to the full purchased inpatient limit. We will subject you to what we call sublimit, or some small portion within the inpatient level. Call it 30% of your total inpatient, or 25% or 50% maximum. Yes.
So when my cover, let's say an inpatient package, maybe I have 2 million, then that means even if I have a pre-existing condition and I declare, I won't be able to benefit from the whole 20 million.
2 million.
2 million.
Yes.
Yes.
It will be subjected. We will just tell you in advance that if you are picking 2 million, the maximum we can handle is 40% of the pre-existing or chronic conditions. Or Sometimes we can give you a package where we say maximum is 500,000, and you come on board with that knowledge. We cannot hide that to an incoming client, that this is the extent we are going to handle. Remember the law of indemnity,
yes,
and also we are handled what we call the law of proximate cause. If these causes of being hospitalized is as a result of pre-existing condition, then that is the extent of indemnity we can handle. Yes.
So that means, what if I don't declare?
We find cases where a member does not declare, and it is very unfortunate. These are the clients who normally start now bringing a lot of heat when it comes to handling their cases in hospital. They believe, or they want to show that they were very innocent by the time they were coming on board. So we normally try and tell them to give us the truth about themselves, so that we advise them accordingly. Otherwise, it will bring some frictions at the end of the day. And if it is not even friction, those are the clients that in most cases do not retain themselves being on cover upon renewal, because they have been exposed and they want now to go and hide in another medical insurance company. Yes.
But some cases, I believe they are genuine. Maybe I purchase a medical package, and at that time I don't know if I have any pre-existing condition, because I've not been diagnosed before for the same. How do you guys help in such cases?
Today there is a lot of development in the medical insurance. Many packages are now being rolled. We call them newly diagnosed chronic conditions, where genuinely you are not aware, and you are purchasing and you have declared your medical condition according to the best of your knowledge.
Yes.
But within some times, you are hospitalized, and then you are diagnosed with a chronic condition. In such a situation, we normally say we have a waiting period of only 3 months for you to be with us, so that we can handle any unknown chronic condition that is being diagnosed for the first time. But if it happens within the lesser than 3 months, then we are also not going to handle it. But if it is immediately after 30 days, after 90 days, we are going to take care of that. And in such a situation, we offer very huge protection level, up to 50% of your inpatient limit.
Okay.
Yes.
That's great. My director is telling me that time is almost up. And maybe just to wind through, about the exclusion, someone will want to know, if I purchase a medical cover, a health insurance cover, if I have any kind of condition, will the insurance pay?
Exclusions is very important, and it is one of the areas that are very painful to explain to a client, but we are still guided to do so. Not everything has got only the positive side of it. There must be the negative side of it. Even this water in front of me, if I take too much of it, it can affect me. So we say there are a number of common exclusions, and especially most practical. When you go to a particular environment, or company to company, or individual to individual, you look at the member and you discuss with him, then you only give examples of relevant exclusions to that particular member. For instance, one common one is overdosing. You know, some members are given medicine by a qualified doctor, then they end up overdosing, taking too much prescriptions, more than normal. Assuming he was to take medicine in the morning and in the daytime and in the evening, he forgets to take the daytime prescription. Then at night, he swallows the night and the day he had to go.
Yes.
When you are hospitalized, and the doctor determines that this overdose, the bills will not be handled.
Okay.
When a member also is hospitalized due to sexually transmitted diseases, because we have what a risk we call moral risks. If you are there due to sexually transmitted diseases, we will not be able to handle your bills, because we normally tell people, if you are going to play outside your environment, please have protective devices, so that you are safe. Yes, so we want people to stay formally or normally. Yes. Number two, another very common exclusion is dangerous sports, involvement in dangerous sports. In our area, extreme. In our area, we can talk of bullfighting game. It's very dangerous. Imagine. So those ones, if you conduct yourself there, we will not be able to take the bill, because you are like self-inflicting yourself into an injury that you know. Yeah, so self-inflicted injury, committing suicide or attempted to commit suicide, we just pray that you are going to be 100%. If you want to commit suicide, be 100% successful. Because if you are not,
you make sure that you die.
Otherwise, we will not handle your bills if you are still alive.
That is interesting.
Yes.
And maybe the last one, there is something called pre-authorization. When I go to an hospital, then I'm being told, we have sent this claim to insurance to approve. Why do we need to go that? Maybe I am unwell and I need that urgent medical attention.
Pre-authorization is very important, and especially admission has got two options. There is an emergency admission, and there is scheduled admission, where you go to a doctor and he normally checks and says you need a procedure to be done, and this procedure will require 3 days in a hospital, and this is the extent of the match that the cost is going to be, including the doctor's fee. So such scheduled procedures require pre-authorization. We don't want a situation where the client goes to the hospital and finds there is no bed, finds the specialist doctor that is to handle his case is away. That's why pre-authorization is required, so that we alert the facility, we even prepare the member on how much we are going to handle, because we have talked about pre-existing and chronic conditions. So we must tell you, as per your program, we can only handle 30% of your inpatient bills, so that you go to the hospital. If the requirement is more than 30, you know how to outsource for the balance. Yes.
Okay. So that is why they do need the pre-authorization.
Yeah.
But I also find that however much it is important to have a medical cover, majority of Kenyans cannot afford. Maybe is there any categories, or how can majority of Kenya, because I was told insurance penetration right now, it is at how many percent? 3%. Yes. And that population of 50 million, just imagine how many people doesn't have medical insurance, maybe because of the premiums.
There's a lot of development in the industry. There used to be, from the beginning, there used to be people focus on only high-end customers, customers that can afford high premiums, so that they can go to high-end facilities like major Nairobi hospital, Aga Khan hospitals. But today, because of the way we want to penetrate the entire market, we have given segments, higher echelon of the market and the lower echelon of the market. We call them the informal sector. Things like chamas, merry-go-round groups. They cannot afford to go to those high-end hospitals, but they want a hospital that is above a government facility. So we give them a micro or the mass market product that is very affordable. Very affordable. Some are even charging only 4,200 for a limit of like 100 for inpatient.
Really?
And they can go to the hospital. And that one, even from age of 18 to 40, that age bracket, you just pay 4,200 and you are protected. And again, such waiting periods have already been reduced to 0. And if there is any, we only take them up to 30 days. And pre-existing, chronic, congenital, all of them are taken care of.
It's covered.
We have even done wonderful to make sure that majority up to a certain age bracket, when now they want to be onboarded on medical, they are not subjected to scrutiny of medical checkups, so that a majority can find themselves coming on board and be protected for medical insurance. Yes.
Wow, that is interesting. I never know. 4,200
minimum.
Minimum.
Yeah.
And I'm covered.
You are covered. Yes.
Wow, that is interesting. And maybe as we wind up, maybe your conclusion. Maybe now to talk to our viewers.
I just would want, at this juncture, each and every person who is listening to me, make sure, if possible, you transfer all your medical risks to any capable insurance organization. Apart from your NHIF, please look for at least a protection of 100,000 at 4,265, and you will be safe. No more Harambes today. People do not come to Harambee. When they hear a medical bill, they say, why did he not buy insurance? So it is important to do that Harambee by you having a medical cover in advance before an event occurs. That one we will be very safe, and will make Kenya be a very productive country, because where people are safe in terms of health, they become more productive, and that's when we can grow the economy of Kenya.
Thank you so much, Mr. Osaka Isaac.
Thank you.
And his number is on there. When you need any medical insurance cover, please contact him. He will be able to help. He will do free consultation. He will advise on the packages available, and he will be able to also help you on which insurance companies maybe to purchase from, and you will have a productive discussion. Thank you so much, and see you next time. We will be coming with more and more insightful messages from our guest. Thank you so much.